In the age of AI, leading teams isn't just about managing people anymore. It's about designing systems where humans and machines thrive together.
Here to unpack what means in practice is Gergely Mihalka from Aeven, who will share how leadership is evolving when AI becomes a true strategic co-worker. Please welcome Gergely.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone, and very good afternoon. First of all, I'm very happy that you are back from lunch, and I think that we all had a very good lunch break, and hopefully there is a good energy to talk about leadership. The morning session was really a lot about technology, how AI is evolving, and it was super fascinating to hear the various speakers. In this afternoon, I try to talk about my own perspectives, how leadership is going to change, because I really believe that changing leadership is inevitable in the age of AI. First of all, I have to admit that it's a super special place for me to be. I haven't been in this building for a long time, and it feels really good to see so many familiar faces. Right now, I'm working for Aeven. We are a Danish ICT provider, and we are building digital technologies, digital infrastructure. And we start to use AI. So we are practicing, and that's why I try to put my own perspective how either AI and leadership will come together. So what are we talking about? First of all, I will talk about why are we talking about this. Because this is an AI conference, and we heard really a lot about changes, transformations, technologies, agents, everything. And I really think that this is a super complex topic, the whole AI transformation. We are living in an age where everything is changing. Everything is upside down. I remember the early days of my career, how we started to do software development, and how we do today is just, I can't even understand the difference between then and now. And I will not tell you how long time it was, but it was pretty long time ago. Then I will think about that what are the key changes, what we will observe as leaders. I think many of us in the room are leaders, so we need to understand and we need to think that how does this impact our daily life? How does this impact our daily operations, how we lead people? Because at the end of the day, we are here to lead people, to give them purpose, to give them tasks, and to achieve goals. And then I try to compare a little bit how it is done today in many organizations and how it may be done in the future. And then we may conclude some conclusions. So I wanted to start at how I see where we are with the AI in 2025. So we are using AI everywhere. It's part of our daily life. Whether we are conscious about it or not, in our daily life, we are using massively AI in various products where we are interacting, various services where we are interacting, especially when we are talking about ICT or telecommunication. And as we've seen earlier today, it's just part of our life. We are having huge investments going into AI. We believe, or the study believe, where I read it, that there will be $1 trillion invested in IT by 2030. This is a huge amount of money. I can't even imagine how many zeros there are. I would need to ask AI about it to write it down for me. But it's an unbelievable big amount of money. And we are doing breakthroughs daily. And that we also heard today, that the landscape is changing super rapidly. There are new technologies coming in every day. And every day, if you read about AI, you see that the new technology came up, new solution came up, and there is new breakthrough almost every day. This is a super fascinating time to live, because I would say this is a huge change how humanity is living, how we are having our lives, because I think that the latest change was like a few hundred years ago when we had such a big change in a technology disrupt. But we are still in the beginning. And what's ahead is, we heard about agentic AI today. I think it was a super presentation in the morning. Agentic AI. We are doing baby steps. There are pilots, but it will be much bigger. Artificial generic intelligence. I think that that's $1 million question as well. When do we get there? But ultimately, we have enough computing capacity. We have enough data, we have enough algorithms, so at certain point in time, I have no doubt that artificial generic intelligence will be a thing. We have infrastructures. I read an article that this year we built more data centers in the US, floor space, than offices, which is really interesting figure because they are putting imaging unbelievable amount of investment into infrastructure because to serve the AI you need it. So you have technology, that's no doubt. It's evolving daily. We don't know where it goes exactly. We have goals to achieve. So what is the possibility to do with this one? Because this will matter to leadership. Because when you talk about technology, technological disruption, or technological evolution, it's one part of the story. The other part will be that how are we using it? And the how are we using it is mostly a leadership question. How do you integrate into the daily operations of any companies? How do you integrate it into the daily development processes, customer support processes, strategy development processes? So I believe that AI will be a strategic partner for all of us. And everybody who is working today somewhere in the society, they will encounter AI, and this will be a partner, a strategic asset for them. The industry adoption in this industry, telecom industry, ICT industry, is just booming. It's really widespread everywhere. In the telco space, ICT space, use cases about development life cycle, about customer support, about product development, everywhere. And that really requires us that how are we going to change the mindset of leadership? And why is this important for us? Because in order to effectively utilize the technology, it's not enough to invest money into technology, buy new tools, develop new tools, but really about integrating into the fabric of the organization. So how is this going to transform? And this is really, from my perspective, is a thought-provoking few ideas what we will see here in the leadership shift. We really need to be curious. Many times, organizations and people in the organization are rigid. They are kind of living the daily life. When they are running the processes, they are doing the daily life. But we need to be really curious how we can really use AI, and we need to impact the mindset of the people in our teams, that how we are able to deal with something what is unknown to us. And earlier today, we also talked about transformation. Transformation, we discussed that how it was in the agile transformation like 1 or 2 decades ago. But here it's something transformation plus a technology enabler. So we really need to enable the people to deal with ambiguity and to deal with the fears. Because what is the biggest fear of anyone who you ask about AI when they are going to steal the jobs, right? This is one of the most common questions, but people may ask when they are going to steal the jobs. And this is ambiguity. And if we are avoiding talking about it, if we are avoiding facing the reality that the work what we do today will change in the future, then we are not going to be curious. We are not going to have the right mindset to explore new opportunities. So we need to train everyone. We need to develop all the skills to everybody be fluent in AI. I am not. That's very clear because I'm looking into it and reading about it, learning about it every day, and I also heard a lot of good stuff today. But everybody in an organization who is working especially with technology, like you, all of you, must be really able to deal with continuous learning. And that's, again, a very big leadership challenge. How do you encourage people? How do you enable people that they are learning? They are learning with a curious mindset, with openness to explore new things. What we also do as leaders, we make decisions. We make decisions that impacts a lot of things in the business strategy, product development, customer support, businesses. And many times we do decisions just because we have experience. We have experience, we did this in the past. Did we do the right decision in the past? Maybe yes, that's why we are here. But maybe not. But certainly we didn't use enough data. We didn't use data points to make our decisions, to back up our decisions with solid arguments. And I think that we as leaders, we really need to think about this one, that how are we going to make decisions in the future? Integrating everything into our operating model. I think this is part of the transformation that teams need to transform, that they are able to integrate humans and AIs together. What does it mean, humans and AIs? We talk about agents, agentic AI, agents who are specialized in certain tasks, what will help humans to excel in their work. And last but not least, it's a lot about trust, ethical AI, and responsible AI. We as leaders have to be responsible that how AI is used in the organization. We hear stories that data was leaked. We hear stories that we use data which is not supposed to have access to because the AI can have that one. How we are dealing that we are a responsible person, a responsible organization, and we have ethical standards high. These are 5 areas where we really as a leader has to change in the future in order to be successful. How do we integrate this one into our leadership? And here, this is very simple. Again, AI will become a teammate. Whether we like it or not, very likely AI, certain AI functions will be part of our teams, and we need to prepare that this strategic partner will be there forever. They will do certain tasks in the teams where we replace humans, and we need to be able to manage a mixed team where we have humans and robots or AI together. For example, AI copilots or AI agents already having a lot of network monitoring, operational use cases where we can do analysis, fault fixes, and so on in the ICT sector. Actually, we heard also about this in the morning, how we are going to use that. It's already here. The leadership is typically a top-down topic. That leader will say something, and then people will hopefully do that. Or there is a conversation, and then there is a decision, and we go forward. From this top-down or command type of leadership, we really need to go into the direction where leaders are orchestrating the organization, where we are more into an orchestrator role, that who has the right level of data, who has the right level of information, what we need, and how do we combine the people and the different AI algorithms to have a good solution altogether. Again, I mentioned the ethical part, but when we are having an AI and human interaction, we have to really be serious and very much concerned that how we are avoiding the problems when the AI has to really behave in an ethical manner. So first point, as a leader, you need to really try to find ways how do you integrate the AI way of working, the AI technology into the daily operations of any big organization. Because the organization will change as well. So today's organization is typical, very hierarchical. There is a boss, there is a smaller boss, there is an even smaller boss, or I can say that boss, a bigger boss, and even bigger boss. And there are people who are actually doing something useful. This will definitely change in the future. Organization should be much more flat. We need to deal about more, less structure, less formal interactions, and we need to have a definition of role, how are we going to do the AI adoption. Right now, I really believe that we are in a point that everybody is trying to find ways for certain AI use cases. How do you integrate into the daily operations? But this is point solutions, most of the times, what I see. But we need to have, as a leader, a strategic view as well, that where we want to be, where are the functions where we need AI, and how we are getting there. Prototyping, investing into AI point solutions is good because that's how the organization will learn. But we as leaders have to provide a roadmap, a framework, a strategic direction, how we are going to integrate the different AI components, the different AI solutions into our daily life, into our strategy. And we must be able to tell this to people, because communication is also somehow, it's all under the surface. We need to really not only define these things, but able to explain to everyone. And when we are able to explain to everyone, then we really need to see that what are the areas where we need to upskill the people, where we need to teach them. And this kind of conference is, for example, a great opportunity to learn about some things and to go back home and to your organization and embed those things what we hear here on this session and do something there. I said that one of the questions, what we are going to change, are our jobs going to disappear or not? So, we certainly will have new roles. It's unavoidable that we are creating new roles in the organization that's about human and AI interaction. And we need to bridge the technology and the organization, strategy, and people together. That's going to be a very big leadership change in the organization. And there will be disappearing or changing roles. And I think that existing roles will be reimagined. There will be someone who is an AI ethical responsible. There will be someone who is AI super power user of certain areas. We started this journey, but I think that we will have more and more changing roles which does not exist today in the organizations, because we have to have, in order to build a strategy and implement the strategy, the right necessary roles in place as well. And there is a very special role, is the leadership role. And that is a really big question, that how and what type of leaders do we need? And the answer is, to be honest, I don't know. But definitely not the same type of leaders what we have today in the organization. We need to prepare how we are integrating young people who are going to be fluent in AI in the next few years. How are we preparing them into the leadership role? Because if you can't really define exactly what a leadership role will look like in the future, then it's hard to prepare. So there will be a lot of disruption in this area, in my view, that what is the future leadership model for the organization? How do we nurture the young talents to become leaders in the future? And that is, I think that I try to compare a few things from today and for the tomorrow. This is a very, very subjective list I started to collect, with the help of AI, of course, that how we do today and how we may do it tomorrow, in the future. Data gathering. How many times you send an email today that please do send me a report? How many times do you ask your coworker, your friend, your colleague, that who is that person who has the access to that data? I do this non-stop. That's why I get my salary. In the future, I do hope that this will be completely automatic, and I have real-time dashboard available for me any given moment in time. If I want to know the state of the business, what I'm running, I just want to look at my computer, any kind of device, and I want to have the data available. I want to have interaction with the data, because I can do it. I have the capability to deal with it, and I can take away a lot from this gathering part. How do I make decisions? I also touched this because I have experience. I did this in the past. It worked out. How to handle a crisis? I usually know how to do it. What's the order of sequence of actions, what you need to do in order to handle a situation? But is this really how we should do decisions in the future? It really got decisions 80% of the time and not based on objective facts. In the future, AI can augment all this decision making. If you have data and you sit down and you look at your data and you make your decisions based on the data, then probably there will be a better outcome. Even AI can make the decision for you. You ask the question, what shall I do? I would not say that we should avoid the human factor here. Humans need to supervise the flow, but they can make decisions for many, many simple decisions, what you do as a leader every day, but you need to supervise. And I think that this is an AI-augmented decision making. Communication. How do we do communication? Randomly. I miss this information. I never heard about that. I don't know who to ask. There is a boring town hall. Useless communication. Everybody is doing slides manually. With AI, we can create tailored message for everyone when they come to the office every day, what they need to know for their work. There could be, think about a situation that you come in, you are an engineer responsible for a product development, and you get an email or any type of message where you have, these are your tickets, this is a case which happens overnight when you were not in the office, this was resolved already by a colleague, don't focus on this one, and your priority should be A, B, and C for today. AI can do this, no problem. But then what's the role for the manager? What is the role for a leader here when this can happen? It's about orchestration and make sure that these messages are there and understood. Risk management. Many of us don't like risk management. It's boring, audits, it's PowerPoint documentation. We do it maybe quarterly, maybe once a year. We can have real-time insight from our systems, from our processes, and we can immediately flag. A lot of help for any leaders to know where to pay attention, where to focus, where not to focus, where things are in place and where things are not in place. This is combining with the data, the dashboards, what you can have available automatically, can really make your effort as a leader useful for focusing on things what matters in time. Innovation. We talk today a lot about innovation. Innovation happened many times sporadically, accidentally, sometimes forcefully, but it's humans sit together and do brainstorming, right? And the leader is probably facilitating that thing. In the future, I believe that this can happen much easier because AI can even suggest areas where you should look at. Because they can have analysis of the data, identifying new areas to look for, and building prototypes automatically. I think that's part of the autonomous coding. But these were, let's say, the areas of leadership which may change, but not only the areas what we do will change, but how we do. And that's equally important, that the how do we do. How do we deal with people? Authority style. Many times there is a leader who comes into the office and tells, this is how you do. This is not going to work because the team members will be enabled with the help of technology, with all the data what they need for doing their job. It has to be a much more collaborative leadership style where we are much more mindful about each other as human beings. Some may say that this is human-centered leadership, that how are we going to collaborate efficiently as a team and not a top-down approach or command and control approach. Empathy, really people-centric. We really need to make environment where people can strive. They can achieve the maximum goal. This is, I think, one of the most fundamental things for any leaders, to create an environment where people can really achieve their goals. They can work freely. It should not be anymore like task, do, output-oriented, but really, how are we dealing with it? How are we orchestrating the workflow? Who do we need to participate in these given projects? And that really requires a different way of thinking, how we think about leadership, how we are building teams, how we are fostering collaboration. Team structures. We used to have, or we used to have silo teams. How many times I hear, this is my team, this is where I'm dealing with, and there is no cross collaboration between different units. How many times you experience something that you are super happy about certain achievements of your team, and then you just figure out that there were 3 the same pilots running in the same company, just called differently. I do see that. How are we avoiding this in the future? How are we creating cross-functional teams from all parts of the organization? Why marketing, sales, customer support, and engineering cannot work together, where they are not doing something vertically siloed? Because this is how we built organizations in the past. That's simply like that. We built, you are sales organization, your task is go to the client and sell. They sold something where there was no roadmap for. Does this ring a bell? I have seen this. Or there is a product development unit who was 110% sure that they do the right things, but then we wanted to install to the customer said, not exactly what I want. How to avoid, how to prepare an organization, how to lead an organization that avoids. And I think that these cross-functional teams, where we really work across the entire end-to-end value chain, can help a lot in the future. Ethics. Sometimes it was always whistleblower reporting. You see something, you report somewhere, and you forget about it. IT department will deal with this. This is violation of certain licenses, whatever. IT department will deal with it. HR department will deal with it, or compliance unit will deal with it. We have chief compliance officer in many organizations. I think that that's not the way going forward, because we as leaders will have a role that, with the help of AI, how we are governing ourselves, how we are providing the leadership. This has to be a core value for every leader, that we are doing the things in the right way and not giving this functionality to some other function in the company, but it has to be embedded into the DNA of every leader. Last but not least, talent development. We do competence development for always. But this is many times very static. You start learning, you have a goal, and you do it. With the AI, you will be able to help AI-driven studies or curriculums, which the computer or the AI can help you to study. It will be your study partners. It will be really helping to establish a continuous learning culture. And one of the points, I left it for the last one, which is, it just happened to me that I had to deal with performance reviews recently. And that is one of the very fundamental elements of any people leadership, that you have to provide feedback to the people, whether you did good and you achieved your targets, or you did not, or where you need to excel. And this many times, once per year. If you're lucky, 2-3 times a year. I really believe that this is an area where, again, where we are dealing with people will change, because the technology will enable us to change. And there is already more than 1/3 of the organizations who has AI in the performance reviews. So we can go from annual goal setting to dynamic real-time goal setting, which can be adjusted based on the data where we are, based on the progress where we are. Frequent feedback, instead of talking once in a month, once in 6 months, non-stop, continuous data-driven feedback to everyone about their work. And then we can really do objective evaluation of everyone, because we have data. It's not like, I like this guy more than that one, or maybe I don't like that person so much because he said something 6 months ago and I still remember. We have biases. With the help of data, with the help of AI, we can take off some of the biases, and we can be much more objective and fair and meaningful towards the people. And what do we usually give on these performance reviews? You did well, thank you, and focus this on the next 12 months. The technology for leadership, AI, can help a personalized training plan, which sounds very good, to be honest, because that means that every employee of yours could have a personalized career development, a personalized way to learn. Some will learn very fast, some will learn slower, some will do on-the-job training because that fits the person. Some wants to go to classroom trainings or certification from vendors. Everybody learns differently. That's a super unique capability of everyone and not harmonized. We as leaders will have a chance to really follow this through and give meaningful performance development and career development for the people. And I mentioned the bias part. In the future, if we really have everything objective, then we can really get rid of a lot of biases. We deal with a lot of bias in the daily leadership. It can be anything. It can be female, male, origin, whatever. We have biases because we are humans. AI can help us to create an ethical technology which helps us to evaluate people fairly, and then we can develop their skills further into the way we want and really make everybody fulfilling their full potential. Because ultimately that's why we are here as leaders, to help people to create an environment that they can fulfill their full potentials. I'm out of time, but I did what shall we do? And I just want to say that you should all own this one. Think about it, define your action plans, think about what you need to do in the age of AI as a leader, and then build it. Train your people, mobilize your management. It cannot be top-down. You need to explain, you need to get trust, you need to get the buy-in, and finally, invest into the people that they are able to achieve their full potential. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have a few more minutes for questions, so please raise your hand if you have any questions. Oh, there. Yeah, you can go.
I was already worried that I have to deal with the X factor.
Hello. I have a question. You did speak about, thank you for your presentation, first of all. It was really nice. You did speak about different places a leader would look at using AI. What is your view about using it in terms of determining how much somebody should be paid?
That's a good question. In 2026, there will be wage transparency, which will handle many of these things. I don't know, because wage is defined by many, many factors. And I think that when you are in the hiring processes, that's the first place where you are establishing the wage of any potential employee first time. And I think that here data can really help you, because if there will be wage transparency, you will know the wages from various sectors, you can compare, you know the experience of the person, and you know the potential of the person. And I think that the wage should reflect this experience, potential, and the market data what you have. And then when you are in the company and you are doing salary reviews, I think that this will be completely changing. That's what I meant by performance management. Many times performance management is linked to the annual salary review, bonus program, whatnot. And I think if we think about performance management in general, this will change. We cannot handle people in the next decade when the youngsters will be in the workforce the same way that we do it today, which means that they will be completely requiring a fair salary. They will be very, very clear on their skills. They will be very clear on their potentials, because they will all use the technology that they will know about their environment. And that's, I think that it will definitely change, because the whole performance management, annual salary reviews will disappear in my view, and it will be a much more fluent, on-demand, and salary harmonization in the future.
My question is, like, what would be your recommendation to a leader who wants to get prepared for these challenges that are ahead of us? There were many things on your slide, but what do you think, what would be the priority for 2026 as a leader if he or she wants to get upskilled to be able to manage in AI?
Learn, try, and fail. Because you have, this is, you need to learn, you need to try. There is daily new technologies coming out. Technology itself is very great, but nothing. Technology without the proper use, without the proper use case, without the processes and integrate it into an organization is just technology. We have seen so many technology failures. In this telco environment, we have seen in the past 20 years so many great ideas which were just pure technology projects and then it didn't happen. I really think that here we have a chance that we have technology, we have great technology, and then we need to integrate it, but we need to use it. And you have to be curious about it, learn about it, practice, and acknowledge your shortcomings. Acknowledge your shortcomings and accept it, that machines will be smarter than you. Machines will be doing some of the things better than you. And then you will be ready to learn.
We will have 2 questions from here. So first.
My usual question is
Yes.
you can share your thoughts.
The X factor.
Yes.
I did not see this coming. I really believe that the X factor of AI is part of that, how we are going to. There are 2 things for me. First is the business. I have never seen anyone saying confidently that AI will be success from financial perspective. Right now, it's a hype. Yes, we do it, but I don't know how are we going to leverage it in the daily work that we are able to do it in a financially efficient manner. That's for me number 1 question. And the number 2 question for me, that how are we moving this away from a technology-oriented thing into something which changed the whole society or the working society in this particular example in the future, instead of making like a very nice geek and technology projects. These are for me the 2 things, which I don't have an answer yet.
Thank you also for presentation. I wanted to ask you, you predicted that organizations will be more flat and less structured, and leadership roles will change. How that affects middle managers? What will happen to them if the organization will be less structured, less maybe need for middle managers?
This is really a good one, and they will disappear. No, I really mean it. I really think that we will always need some governance for any company who gives direction, strategic, and so on. And there will be people who are actually working together with other people on the middle management is many times transactional, translating from top to bottom, which can be done by technology. I think these middle managers need to transform the ones who orchestrate the organization. And when I say that organization may change, I don't know where you are and how stable is your team, but I think that no team will stable for 1 year, 2 years, that I'm in a back-end team doing back-end development for certain product, but there will be maybe project-specific things which comes together on a certain problem, and then they immediately dissolve. How do you manage this transition? Because that means that one person will not have one manager, but many ones, and this really goes down into the rabbit hole. But I think that the middle management layer is the one which really has to change a lot, and many of them who is not able to adapt will disappear, because many of these transactional top-down or bottom-up activity will disappear because it's just simply technology. I'm on the list, so.
Thank you very much, Gergely.
Thank you.